Really, is this it?
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, when the Housing Minister himself admits the government's record on housing is feeble and embarrassing, we'd hoped for better. In fact, we needed better. And his statement this afternoon will desperately disappoint millions of people struggling month to month to cope with a cost of housing crisis. I have to say it was feeble beyond belief. After 7 years of a Conservative government, he says, and I quote, "We need to have a proper conversation about housing need." His top priority is a new housing delivery test. And how many times before have we heard ministers say, "We will free up more public sector land more quickly"? Mr. Speaker, it's also clear today we don't just have a housing crisis in this country, we have a crisis in the Conservative Party about what to do. The huge 200-page Housing and Planning Act last year, not even mentioned today. A boast beforehand from the Secretary of State about radical action on planning, stamped on by the Prime Minister today. And rows between backbenchers and the Secretary of State over planning, with local councillors resigning as a result of his decisions. Mr. Speaker, this white paper is not a plan to fix the housing crisis, and it will do nothing to reverse the 7 years of failure on housing we've seen since 2010. So let me turn to some of the areas where we needed strong action in the statement today. First, home ownership. After seeing 1 million more homeowners under Labour, home ownership under the Conservatives during 7 years is falling and in free fall for young people. Yet this white paper confirms the Tory party has given up on home ownership. It waters down the promise to help with those who need help to get a first foot in the housing market. So I say to the Secretary of State, why not reverse the cuts to investment in new affordable homes to buy that has meant the number of new low-cost homes built has fallen to 7,500. Why not stop those earning over 100 grand from getting help through Help to Buy and make it available only for first-time buyers, not second-time buyers or subsequent buyers? Second, homelessness. After homelessness was cut to record lows under Labour, the number of people sleeping rough on our street has more than doubled, yet not a single mention of homelessness this afternoon. Why can he not accept that this shames us all in a country as decent and well off as ours? And why will he not adopt the Labour plan to end rough sleeping homelessness within a parliament? Third, action on renters. How will simply, and I quote, "working with the rental sector to promote 3-year tenancy agreements help the current country's 11 million current renters"? So why won't he legislate for longer tenancies tied to predictable rent rises and decent basic standards? And finally, Mr. Speaker, on building more homes. This is a government that have pledged to build 1 million new homes by 2020. And yet the total newly built last year is still less than 143,000, while the level of new affordable house building has hit a 24-year low. And we need all sectors, private house builders, housing associations and councils to be firing on all cylinders to build the homes we need. So why will he not drop the deep Tory hostility to councils and let them build again to meet the needs of local people? It is tragically clear, Mr. Speaker, from this statement that 7 years of failure on housing is set now to stretch to 10. We were promised a white paper, we're presented with a white flag. This is a government with no plan to fix the country's deepening housing crisis.